Hey family, it's your sis Lisa. I hope you're doing well. Y'all, today we are starting a new series called Living Single Lessons. Y'all know I'm single like a Pringle, out here navigating it, growing, and I'm like, you know what? While we're single, we might as well all grow and talk about how we're growing and what we're learning. So that's what Living Single Lessons is gonna be about. Today, y'all, I just wanna talk about the quote, if he wanted to, he would. And fellas, if you're watching, if she wanted to, she would. Okay, so let's get into the video. All right, y'all, so personally, I have heard the quote, if he wanted to, he would, so many times, so often. But it wasn't until recently that I fully grasped it, took it in, and digested it, and I wanted to talk about it. So, a while ago, I tweeted this. If he wanted to, he would. He would make the time. He would text you back. He would call you. He just would. If he hasn't, he doesn't want to. But I promise you there's a man out there who will want to. Focus on you and stop thinking about this man who doesn't see you properly. So personally, I posted this in a moment where I was like, you know what? I'm more valuable than what is being shown to me. In a lot of situations, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It started with a situation where I wanted a guy to text me back, to call me back, to all this stuff. And I was like, first of all, Lisa, you don't need to be waiting around for somebody, especially when, and this is a situation where I let somebody know, hey, it makes me feel some type of way when you do X, Y, Z. But they still can, they said, oh no, sorry, but then continue to do X, Y, Z. And that, my dear friends, is the epitome of if he wanted to, he would. You know what I'm saying? So I felt this in a moment and I was like, honestly, my time is too valuable, I'm too valuable, and this is not the foundation of any type of relationship that I want. Friendship, romantic relationship, work relationship, any type of relationship that I want. I don't want to feel like I'm not valued. I don't want you to say you value me and then not actually put the action behind your words. And even when I tell you, hey, your actions and your words aren't lining up and you continue to do it, like, that's not fair to me, right? But I do want to make one clear distinction, right? When we're talking about if they wanted to, they would, we have to also, like, give grace in this a little bit, you know what I'm saying? For example, if someone is super busy and they cannot get back to you right away, when it's like a mentor or like a friend that you know has a lot going on, if they cannot get back to you right away, that doesn't really apply to if they wanted to, they would. Especially, actually, kind of only if they reply with a, hey, so sorry I'm late getting back to you, and actually reply. An actual acknowledgement of like, I'm sorry for, you know, getting back to you late, or I had a lot going on, can go miles. And to me, gives me more grace to somebody than someone who's just like, replies to me late and doesn't acknowledge that I texted you 2 weeks ago. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So someone who is actually busy but still cares about you is different than someone who says they care about you but doesn't show it. And I hope that makes some sense. So let's take this a step beyond just like interpersonal relationships and personal friendships and things like that. Let's talk about like a work relationship. So let's say you say to your boss, hey, I'd really like a raise. And your boss says, you know what, you totally deserve a raise. We're gonna give that to you. Just give me until this month, right? The month comes and goes. There's been multiple months that go by. You get no raise. Now what, right? So now you have the option of either I'm going to quit this job and look for somewhere where I feel valued and look for somewhere where I can make more money, or I'm gonna stay here, keep working beyond my job description, keep working too hard and not getting compensated for it and not getting anything in return. When I say it like that, don't it sound like the math ain't mathin'? Don't it like not make sense that you would stay in that situation? And so I just think when we're thinking about our personal relationships, because our hearts get involved, sometimes we can be so emotional about it, or we want something so bad that we don't really actually take into account the facts of the situation and even the facts of our feelings. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something we need to think about. If this was like a work situation where your heart wasn't all entangled in it, how would you feel? you would feel like, hey, this person is saying something but not showing it. My company is saying they value me, but they're not showing it to me. So I think that's something that we need to think about and apply, even in our personal relationships, where it's like, is the math mathing? Is it adding up? Does it make sense? Okay, so I'm about to get into your house, into your business, as if I wasn't already. So when we say if they wanted to, they would, we also need to turn the mirror back on ourselves and think, yo, if I wanted to, I would. I'm gonna be honest with you all. Your girl has a lot of things going on. There's a lot of obligations I have. I actually have multiple jobs. All that stuff is going on. So sometimes in my personal relationships, I am not the best at getting back to people. Honestly, professionally, sometimes I'm not the best at getting back to people. But I always say, if someone follows up with me professionally, or if I get a chance to look through my text messages like, dang, I didn't respond to my homegirl who I actually really want to talk to, or someone I really care about, I will reply like, hey, so sorry for getting back to you so late, and then go on with the conversation. But like, genuinely acknowledge like, your time is valuable. I'm sorry that if it feels like I may have wasted it, or that I don't care. I do. Just a lot going on, going through a lot. The same grace that I expect to be extended to myself, I try to extend to other people. You hear what I'm saying? However, you also have to know when you're in a situation where you're like, I don't want to. And the way to go about that situation is up to you. That's definitely something to think about and consider. Like if someone's hitting you up and you don't want to hang out, don't continue to give to that person, because that's not fair to them. Like, don't continue to lead them on as if like, oh, I really do care, because then you're doing the same thing like with your words and not showing it in your actions. And that's not fair to them, and you wouldn't want that done to you. So honestly, when I master how to, you know, navigate that, I'll let y'all know. But I think for me, the first step is recognizing when I feel that way and really understanding like, okay, this is not necessarily a relationship that I feel like I need to invest a lot of time in. Like, we don't align on some things. This isn't where I want to put my energy. And figuring out how to navigate that situation. Again, when I figure that out, there'll be another video. But at least we acknowledge how we feel and we're working through it. Pray through it. Think about it. Get back to me if you have anything. Leave a comment below if you have anything on that. So basically the whole concept we're talking about is kind of centered around gaslighting. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this term gets overused. So I was in therapy talking through multiple situations in my life, and a lot of them came down to gaslighting was happening to me. And I had to ask my therapist to explain it, because I was like, what does that mean, actually? When she said, oh, they're gaslighting you. I said, what does that mean? Explain it. You know what I'm saying? So I looked it up and I got a written definition. I understood it at the time, but I don't want to misquote her, so I just looked it up, and here's the definition. Gaslighting is a colloquialism that is loosely defined as making someone question their own reality. The term may also be used to describe a person who effectively puts forth a false narrative that leads another person or a group of people to doubt their own perceptions and become disoriented or distressed. So, when someone is saying to you, yeah, I really care about you. Yeah, like, this is me caring about you. But the way they show their caring is by ignoring you, or by not valuing your time, by not responding to you, by mistreating you. They're gaslighting you, because they're making you question your own reality. Like, am I tripping? Like, am I not worth a reply? Am I not worth, like, responding to? And the thing is, sometimes it can be unintentional. But when you present it to someone like, hey, this is making me feel this type of way, and they're like, that's not my intention, but don't change their actions, they're gaslighting you. Like, sis, bro, they're gaslighting you. And that's not okay. Like, we can no longer allow ourselves to be gaslit, if that's how you say it. But still, we can't allow that, because you are too valuable. This all goes down to really just like understanding your self-worth. And truly, I think recently for me, I had to come to, I am better than this. Like, this is not even something I need to give my time and energy to, because it's making me sad, it's making me question myself, it's making me confused about my relationships, about these people, about myself. And that's not it, you know what I'm saying? That's not how we should feel about ourselves. That's not how we were created to feel. That's not even true. You are valuable. Your time is valuable. The things you bring to the table are valuable, both in a work situation, both in a personal situation as a friend, as someone who could be someone's like significant other. You have so much to offer that it doesn't make sense for you to keep offering to someone who keeps mistreating you. So I hope this video empowers you to not only take a look inside and think about, am I gaslighting someone? Am I holding up if they wanted to, they would? But also to think and evaluate your relationships across the board. I love when we talk about like interpersonal relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, but your work relationships, like your family relationships, are they living up to if they wanted to, they would? And if they're not, how can you be like, hey, this makes me feel a type of way? You know what I'm saying? And how can you better categorize your relationships too? That is something for me that came out of this revelation of what gaslighting is, or if they wanted to, they would. Because for me, I had to think, you know what? I'm putting you on the level of a super close friend, or I'm putting you on the level of somebody who really values me. And I'm giving you that energy that I would give to somebody in that position. But if you are proving yourself to not be at that level, you're down to an acquaintance, you're down to a less intense friend, or like whatever it is that you want to knock them down to in level, or just help you understand how that person sees you. Because someone who sees you properly is not going to gaslight you. They are not going to say they care about you and not show it. Someone who really values you is not going to pretend to care about you and talk about you behind your back. Someone who really values you is not going to do something that would make you feel less than. They're not going to just make you feel like you're not who you know you are. And so I just don't want you to question who you are anymore. I don't want you to question how people feel about you. If you have to question how someone feels about you, there's your answer. Like, if you're like, does this person like me? Do they have a crush on me? If you can't tell from the way they treat you, from the way they honor you, from the way they act around you, then there's probably your answer. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Not gonna lie. Hit myself in the face a little bit. Not gonna lie. So, but yeah, it's just if you have to question it, if you can't sense it and feel it, if you can't see it in someone's actions, then there's your answer. You know? People treat you the way they feel about you. And if you feel like they're not, and you think they feel differently about you, but they're not treating you well, and you bring it up to them, and they don't change their actions, again, there's your answer. So, we got a little tough love today. Things got a little real in here. But I really just hope and pray that this just causes you to take some time to journal, take some time to think, and really dig into this concept. Because I don't know, it was a shift for me and my perspective, and it's led me to healthier relationships and me just thinking more positively about myself and understanding how I feel about others and how I deserve to be treated. So I really pray that like this video was helpful. Look up some more stuff about gaslighting. Think about the concept of if they wanted to, they would. Pray through it. I highly recommend praying through it because that's something that got me through it. If you need to go to therapy, go ahead and hit that therapy up. Whatever you need to do to realize your self-worth and who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because once you figure that out, a force to be reckoned with. They can't mess with you. So I love you guys. I hope this helped. You can leave a comment below if you have anything else to add to this concept. If you want to share a personal story, you can message me on Instagram, all that good stuff. I truly love you, and I just want you to know who you are and how valuable you are. More concepts like this about like just self-worth and discovering who you are and knowing more of who you are can be found in my book, Living Single. It's written for women who love God and want a husband. However, anyone can really read it and really just feel like you want to know yourself better. You want to love on yourself some more. You want to get deeper into who you are and who God says you are and why you feel the things you feel and all that good stuff. definitely recommend checking out this book. So I love you guys, I appreciate you, and yeah, thanks for watching, bye!